And the Ghana Integrity Initiative, GII, has called on the government to release a report on the investigations carried on the former head of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, CHRAJ, Madam Loretta Lampton. The commissioner, who stepped down to allow investigations to take place, was accused of splashing over $200,000 on rent at the AU village and about 180,000 Ghana cedis on the renovation of her official residence. The anti-graft body said that, quote, "The long silence is worrying and many Ghanaians may give different interpretations to this silence, but whatever interpretations people give to this silence, the commissioner on her part and the Ghanaian taxpayers deserves justice, and the silence on the matter does not serve its purpose, or this particular purpose." Joining us in studio to speak on this issue is Richard Nyama. He's the spokesperson for the Progressive Nationalist Forum, and he was the lead in taking or bringing out this issue, which drew a lot of public attention. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
It's been a while. Where have you been?
I'm around.
You've been around.
Yes,
all right.
On the quiet.
Okay. To start with, what are your initial comments on the fact that almost 8 months on since this debate started, there seemed to have been a loud hush on it?
Yes. I do appreciate the concerns of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, and especially that of Mr. Vitus Azim, the Executive Director. I am in it, and I know what is going on behind the scenes. You see, this is about the fourth of such cases have been to court or CHRAJ or committee with. And in all the instances, I've realized it's a very long, painfully dragged process that if you do not have the patience, you might not follow up, and at the point even give up. But I've also come to appreciate that it's because if you're accusing somebody, the person must be given a hearing, and would have to ensure that the person is not wrongly convicted or accused and wrongly in any way indicted. And so the person has to be given a hearing. It's taken quite a while, but we've gone through all the motions, luckily I would say, and Mr. Azim and the rest of Ghanaians should rest assured. We've brought our case to a close. Addresses have been given, so it is my expectation that in a couple of months, we'll hear from them.
Yeah, but if you say a couple of months, of course, you know, they say the wheels of justice grind slowly, and then the debate of whether this is justice being denied, because this is an issue of interest to many. Yeah. And do you not think that at least there could be some expedited action on it?
I would be paraphrasing somebody who, I think in the legal parlance, was indicated that he would rather have 100 criminals on the loose than one innocent person convicted. I would rather the wheels of justice grind slowly so that justice is done and done properly than rushing it and then probably convicting an innocent person. And so at the end of the day, the point to be made is that justice will be done. And some of us, once we take an issue, we ensure that we get to the bottom of it. For me, I'm encouraged by the judicial process. The Chief Justice did what she was supposed to do. She put up a committee. The committee is sitting. We are appearing. I wish you knew what it takes to go there. Virtually, there were times that the whole week the committee was sitting, and I've come to appreciate the work that is being done. I appreciate the concerns of the various bodies that are expressing concern. The fight against corruption is on, and let's all do our bit to ensure that
we have been joined on the line by Mr. Vitus Azim. He is the Executive Director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative. Mr. Azim, good afternoon, and thank you very much for your time.
Yes, good afternoon.
The gentleman who started this, brought this issue to the media or brought it out for the media debate to begin, is saying that they've gone through the processes, the court issues, the committee sittings, and that they are working. It's not like the issue has been thrown to the dogs or has been left out unattended to. So he believes that the process is ongoing. Your statement seemed to have asked the big question: why haven't we heard anything in 8 months and counting? Do you think that following what we have been told, your statement may have been put in or may have been done in a rush or released in a rush?
No, the statement was not done in a rush. The statement was issued yesterday. And as at yesterday, the time that we issued the statement, we had no information as to the status of the investigation. It is only after the statement was issued and was being discussed on air that someone has got to know the status of the investigation. And this morning I heard Joy FM say that it had been the sittings have been concluded. But despite that, 8 months is a very long time. It's an investigation of an individual. It's not an investigation of, let's say, the organization CHRAJ or any other organization that should take so long. And besides, these committee sittings, they actually involve time and cost to the state. People have to stop their normal work and join, and be part of the committee. And so one would expect that it will be done quickly and over with. Besides, somebody's livelihood is at stake. Somebody is sitting at home for 8 months because of this case. And so the saying that justice delayed is justice denied has an effect. It might have a negative effect on some of the people involved in this whole process. And so we're just reminding the Chief Justice and the committee that it appears the case was delaying. And I must admit it's good news that they have concluded the sittings, and we hope to see the report soon.
But in that same vein, you would also agree that in the legal fraternity, they say the wheels of justice grind slowly, and that this case, due to its sensitivity, might take some time. Or do you think that because it is of state interest, there should be an expedited attention to it, or an expedited trial of this particular case?
You see, I am not a lawyer, but I don't see this as a trial. It is an investigation.
Right.
And before they even decided to investigate, some preliminary inquiries were made, and that's what led to the establishment of the committee. So some information was already out there. And so even though the wheels of justice grind slowly, there has to be a limit to how slowly it goes. Otherwise, it can last for the next 10 years.
Okay.
And so that's what we're just saying. But we're just highlighting this, but also pointing to previous investigations, similar cases that have happened, and we haven't seen anything. And you see, for us to have confidence in the system, we need not only to have these things done promptly, but also to get to know the findings and the actions that have been taken.
You're right. You also brought up the issue of the various committees that have been set up, government committee of inquiry, commissions, and then little is heard about them. Why do you think this is the case?
Well, from our perspective, some of it delayed because, or no action is taken because there was no commitment to even unravel the whole situation. But it was due to pressure from civil society, from media, and other stakeholders that they set up the committee. And if you are reluctant to set up the committee, but are pressurized to set up the committee, then it's just a way of saying, oh, let's say something so that they will keep quiet about it. And as people say, the Ghanaians have a short memory. We in the media and the civil society need to continue to revisit these issues, to eliminate that feeling that we have a short memory.
Right.
And we should not allow politicians just to set up committees because they want us to keep quiet.
Okay. All right. We're grateful for your time, Mr. Vitus Azim. He is the Executive Director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, and they released a statement yesterday. He said that it was just a reminder statement. But the key issue they raised had to do with that of the CHRAJ boss, Madam Loretta Lamte, who is being investigated and is counting close to about 8 months. But in studio, Richard Nyama is telling us that we have about a few months, or in the next few days, we are going to be hearing something as a result of that investigation. But we want you to at least give us a sense of how soon we are going to hear something in 30 seconds. How soon or how much longer should we wait?
No, even before I get there, I appreciate what Vitis Azim and the GII are doing, because that is bringing the issue to the fore. And it is important for us to keep doing that, so that politicians and all those in authority are aware that they can't just set up committees and get away with it. But this process was an in-camera hearing. And so we, all those that were involved, more or less had to keep mum, because that was the process. But now that is over, it is out there. I'm like, we've gotten to the end of the process. It is for the committee to write their report. Okay. And so I cannot give a date as to when they will bring it out, because we should allow them the space to come out with a very good report that will reflect proceedings and the way forward. And so I wouldn't put a date, but give and take a month, at most early part of October, I expect
something to hear
something.
All right. Thank you very much. I've been speaking with Richard Nyama. He's the spokesperson of the Progressive Nationalists Forum.